At this juncture, may we call in our Assistant Regional Director for Operations, Fire Senior Superintendent ROMEL E VILLAFUERTE, sir, for your message.
Company Commander, bring your troop to parade rest. Good morning, my fellow public servant, especially to our Regional Chief of Staff, Senior Superintendent Pobre, Division Chief President. Once again, good morning. So, I think this is the first time that we don't have a resource speaker. Tama ba? For a valid reason. The situation is beyond our control, so that's normal. Things really happen. But anyway, since it's Monday convocation, I need to somehow impart something to you that will serve as an additional information on your part, as part of our troop information and education. Actually, this is something to do with, in a way, this won't take long. This is something to do with the procurement law, especially so that yours truly is the chairman of the Bids and Awards Committee. And also, we have here with us the members of the BAC and the members of the Technical Working Group and the BAC Secretariat. I want to share this to you, impart to you some knowledge, because whether you like it or not, time will come. Some of you will be part of the composition, especially for officer, regular member, and for the non-officer, probably member of the BACSEC and some probably member of the Technical Working Group. So just take this as part of your additional tool in your respective toolbox. Especially so that the old law, the government procurement law, no less than the RA 9184, was amended, and the new amendment was approved last February, I think, pursuant to RA 12009, and took effect last February. As to the significant features, actually most likely the same. However, as to the modality, under the old law, there are of course one default mode, no other than the competitive bidding or public bidding, so to speak, and alternative procurement. There are four actually. For the old law, that's direct contracting, limited source bidding, shopping, repeat order, and negotiated procurement. So those are the modalities under the old law. And as far as negotiated procurement is concerned, the old law, it has a total of 12 modalities. To mention few, we have agency to agency, small value procurement, list of venue, what else? Takeover of contracts, adjacent or contiguous, and so on and so forth. In the new law, and as far as the modality is concerned, of course, default mode, of course, public bidding or competitive bidding. However, when we talk about alternative mode of procurement, there are, if I'm not mistaken, 10. Some of the modality based on the old law, part of the negotiated procurement is already translated from negotiated to alternative mode of procurement, especially when we talk about small value procurement. Now, this new law is very, for us, advantageous on our part, because in terms of the bidding process, it's not that, it's so steep on the part of the BAC, and especially on the part of the implementing unit. Now, as far as the procedure, actually it's just the same. It will start, or it will emanate from the number one document that will serve as our basis, no other than the annual procurement plan. This annual procurement plan is a consolidated procurement of the BEP out from the PPMP, the Project Procurement Management Plan, prepared by no less than our Chief of the Plans Division. So we will be the one to consolidate all the PPMP of all end users coming from the lower unit and translate that into a final PPMP subject for defense lugar during the budget hearing at the national headquarters. Once approved, we will translate that into annual procurement plan. However, the law requires us to conduct early procurement activities, no, before the start of the budget year. So, 50% of our annual procurement plan will be subjected to early procurement activities. So, we have a so-called indicative PPMP and indicative APP. Indicative in the sense is not yet deliberated and approved. So, once approved, we will again issue supplemental APP and supplemental PPMP or final PPMP and final APP. So, that's our baseline. So, under the APP, there are milestones, no? By quarter, per second, third, but somehow, due to the requirement that we need to conduct early procurement activity, somehow it's not really that we will follow it because of the so-called early procurement. Especially so, early procurement activities is the basis for our the so-called performance-based bonus. As a matter of fact, last year, sad to say that the members of the BAC were not able to receive their PBB for reasons that we failed to satisfy the 50% requirement for a valid reason also. Good for you, gentlemen and ladies, because you are not affected. That's the beauty of this system, wherein lower members of a certain organization are not affected with the non-release of the PBB. Only the members of the BAC. So that's our burden, no? Our burden somehow. But then again, under my leadership as the chairman of the BAC, I see to it that we can satisfy the requirement as to the 50% of the annual procurement plan. So if I'm not mistaken, we already accomplished, Jackie, 60% already? 60%. So I'm proud to say that this year, once VP in general will receive PBB, members of the BAC are part of the recipient. So, salamat sa atong mga members of the BAC. Now, with this procurement, no, this is normal. An agency such as the Bureau of Fire Protection, without procurement, the agency is useless because we need things, we need items such as goods, such as infrastructure as part of our modernization, and so on and so forth. So, considering the fact that we already accomplished 60%, we still have 40% to be procured. Now, that's why I constantly coordinated with the FMD regarding the modality, because again, as I mentioned, when I talk about the new law, it is advantageous on our part, actually, because the procedure is somehow reduced, especially when you talk about small value procurement. Now, when you talk about small value procurement, there is a threshold, no, for every modality. Threshold for small value procurement, previously the threshold of the small value procurement is 50,000. Now, it's no longer 50,000, it's 200,000 pesos. Now, for public bidding, the threshold is 2 million up before 1 million. Now, the good thing for this new law is shopping is no longer part of the modality. There is no such thing as shopping in this new law. Purely direct acquisition. Meaning, you can immediately buy the things that you need, especially for goods not available at the DBMPS. DBMPS stands for Department of Budget Management Procurement Service. We are mandated or directed to procure our fast-moving items, such as bond papers, those are the so-called common use supplies sa DBM. So, that's mandatory. Now, once DBM will issue certification that our requested common use supplies are not available, they will issue a certification. That's where, right and then, that we will prepare the necessary finalization of our remaining goods to be procured. Before, we will make use of the small value. This time around is no longer direct acquisition. Try to imagine, you just simply go out there with their medicine, with their bond paper, with their janitorial equipment. You can just simply buy it outrightly. The things that you are going to to get is only the official receipt. That's no more, no less. So, di ba, advantages on our part. And I know division chief are really requesting that in terms of the procurement of your office supplies, you have the leeway, you have the, all the decision on what particular common supplies that they're going to buy. So, however, okay na si Mark, however, sad to say that, again, the threshold is more than the 200,000 pesos. The approved budget for the contract for the office supply is 400 something, and unfortunately, they certify only 7,000 out of 400. So, meaning 400,000 less 7,000, that's 397. So, that's beyond 200,000. So that we can make use of the direct acquisition. That's the problem. However, probably by next year, once we have a good signal from of course, no less than our COA, higher office to implement the new law, probably by next year, direct acquisition will be part of the modality in terms of the procurement of your office supplies. Muna na i-discuss ni Mark. So, probably because he will no longer issue CAF for the procurement of common use supplies. So, under the new law, simply mag-cash advance lang. So, I know you have your petty cash custodian in every division. So, cash money will be downloaded to them, and you have the leeway, you have the floor you have all the decision what particular equipment, janitorial or office you're going to buy. So, simple. So, okay na si Mark na. So, that will be implemented by next year. So, and also, when you talk about fuel, before, usually, since our fuel is more than the threshold, 1 million, 1.2, but now it's 2 million. But then again, in this new law, we are given our opportunity to procure it through direct retail purchase. No? Meaning, the same with direct acquisition in the form of cash advance or reimbursement. So, muna nag-discuss probably by next year na po. So, that would be advantageous on the part sa mga recipients sa fuel. So, again, this new law is very, for us as a bank, is very useful and, of course, very, for me, advantageous. Again, because our backsec is very busy. Somehow, this is the right time now for them to be somehow relaxed. However, there is a so-called jury duty under the new law and even the old law, which simply means that back first before anything else. Back first before anything else. If you have a primary position, once there is scheduled bidding, and so on and so forth, so you need to prioritize the bidding process. Now, when we talk about the bidding process, again, it will emanate from the APP, and then CAF will be issued by the FMD, and that's where the first bidding process will start, which is the posting of the invitation to bid, and then after that, pre-bid conference, after pre-bid conference, opening of bid, and then post-qualification, and issuance of notice award and notice to proceed. So that's actually the bidding process. So the reason why I want to impart this to you, because again, whether you like it, the time will come, especially for officers, you will be part of the BAC, and for regular member and for non-officers, members of the technical work. Because under the law, the maximum tenure of the members of the BAC and even technical working group is only 1 year. So supposedly by next year, another batch of members. That's the requirement. However, based on our experience, we only have one pack for the rest of the year. Unless otherwise somebody will be relieved and transferred to another station. But once such a situation that happens, so forever. So walang-wala may opportunity. But for me, I really want to, kumbaga, I will try to talk to RD that somehow we need to follow the requirement that the tenure of the back members only 1 year to give chance to others. No, to give chance to others. Anyway, there's nothing to worry about cases that will filed against us. Anyway, we have our lawyer, a very good lawyer, no less than Chief Inspector Carrido is very much knowledgeable enough on how to defend the back in terms of cases. We had sad experience before during the time the chairmanship of Senior Superintendent Ratonel Green dismissed. It was dismissed. The burden on their part, but my point is we have a record that we have a good lawyer who can defend us for as long as we will not deviate the procurement process. That's the good thing. Okay, once you deviate with the general process, that's where right and then we will be facing some problems. So this is just additional information for everybody, and I hope you learned something from this. So I think that's all. But before I end, by the way, final message. Last week I attended the Regional Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council full council meeting, and during that meeting, Pag-asa, this is important, lifted their advisory on the determination of La Nina. So according to them, we will be experiencing hot season in the coming months. So you know what to do. Hydration, it was actually recommended, hydration, stay away from the sun because our heat index compared before increases actually. So that's the instruction from Pag-asa. And then for the operation, we are required to have our inventory for our scuba divers. Because no less than our newly installed regional director of the Department of Interior and Local Government, Director Kulao, mentioned about the capability of the members of the RDRNC in terms of response to vessels. So siguro familiar si Ana. That's why he manifested or he moved for the issuance of resolution directing us, the BEP, the Coast Guard, the PNP, regarding the submission of our inventory capabilities for water search and rescue. So one of the requirement is inventory of scuba divers. I think we have five na siguro scuba divers, which was the training was conducted, if I'm not mistaken, during the Mr. Lauso, siguro to. That was 4 years ago. 4 years ba to? In fact, we procure scuba suit and So, heads up lang kaya, to charge. So, resolution, actually, approved, unanimously approved. So, probably anytime this week, so that resolution will be forwarded to us for our compliance. So, I think that's all. Thank you, and once again, good morning.
Thank you for your message, sir.